Hello, this is my first 5K run in the winter time. This is at Toronto Zoo. Move your paws. February 21st, 2026.
Go.
I wasn't sure what I was expecting today, but we got a nice little snowstorm and a huge crowd at the beginning. So it was a little bit rougher to get around people at the start. You can see that there was a lot of walkers, so we had to cut left to try to get around people. We definitely couldn't make our pace right at the beginning. I'm so glad that I was able to do this run with my friend Robert. You can see him on the left there just for a second. So I started running about 4 months ago, and Robert was nice enough to come along for this run. It's our first run probably since high school, which is probably around 20 years ago. So our plan today was actually for me to pace. Now keep in mind that our runs before this has mostly been individualized, and I'm a treadmill runner since it's cold in Toronto. I started off in October running about 2.5K at a really slow pace. Eventually, by the end of that month, I got to about a 5K run doing about 39 minutes. Over the 4 months, I was doing two 5K runs a week and one 10K run. And it improved on the treadmill. And my personal best before this run was about 27 minutes. Although I did do a run outside, and that took me about 38 minutes just because there was so much snow on my route. So I was a little iffy on the pace I should be going for this run. So in the end, Robert and I settled on doing a sub 30. And you'll see not everything goes according to plan today, but we gave it our best. When we got to the first kilometer mark, I think we were both feeling pretty good. We were stuck in the crowds for a bit, but overall we were on pace and we were just chugging along. What I was not expecting was how hard it would be to pace. With everyone going a different speed, I couldn't really judge too well on how fast I was going. So you'll see the orange jacket person. I just kind of used him as our pacer since he was going about the same pace we were, till he wasn't. You'll also see a runner running the other way from us. He did the loop around, and I believe he's one of the first runners. The fastest runner of this race did the 5 kilometers in 1846, I believe. Crazy. Now here's the loop back portion. In my head, for some reason, I was thinking this is a halfway mark. I was wrong. And as you can see, I was going quite a bit faster than the pace that we planned, just keeping up with the Netherlands guy. But I didn't realize it at the time, so I was still feeling pretty good at this point. So at this point, you're going to notice more tech issues starting to happen. You'll see that I've attached my camera to my hat, and it's not going to stay straight. Uh, to be fair, this is the first time I'm using a running camera. And here's my first hat check. Now coming up to the 3 kilometer mark, I was starting to feel a little more tired than usual. You'll start to see a lot more people pass me as the run keeps going. I just couldn't get in the groove for whatever reason. I believe it's probably to do with my breathing. But the crowds here were great. Everyone was cheering super loud, so that did help push me on. Okay, enough of that. Now, this point of the race, I think Robert noticed that I was struggling a bit, so he took up the front position and started to pace us a bit. So I talked to Robert after the race and asked him how he's feeling up to this point. He said that we went off a little bit fast, but when he got to this point, he hit the runner's high and he was feeling good. I was feeling the exact opposite though. So you're gonna see at the 4 kilometer mark, he looks back and gives me a thumbs up. I just told him to keep going and not wait for me. At this point, I was pretty gassed out and I didn't think I could keep the pace up. From this point on, you might see really bad angles for the camera as I've been struggling to keep my hat straight. And at the same time, my watch dies. So the actual info is going to go away in the 25-minute mark-ish. And here's why the camera's angle so bad. So around this bend is actually the end. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, so I was pretty tapped out, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be anywhere close to making my time. I think I saw the ending arch about 200 meters out, and that's when I began my final sprint. Of course, if my hat wasn't lopsided, it would be easier to see that here. So I did catch the timer at 29 minutes 55 seconds, and I went all out. Of course, that timer only shows from when the start of the race happened to the end, and it didn't take into consideration when we got to the start line. So here's our official times. So I got 29:04, but amazingly, Robert was able to get 28:22. And he did very little training for this before his PB was 30 minutes. Just some quick info for anyone that might be interested in doing this next year. So the venue does allow you to bring in your own food and drinks, and you can re-enter if you need to go change in your car after the race. Just keep your bib. They do have snacks and waters after the race, along with some warm food. And for family, you can actually bring them along. You just have to pay 50% of the ticket price. Usually they give you a promo code a week before, but they have to enter at a certain time on the day of. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.